decided to have the Circl Mint twins in, as I'm calling you, Josepha Abdelnour and Grace Abdelnour Bruckner. It's important to note that you guys are sisters. I know which one is older, but we're not going to talk about that. So I'm having you on the show because you are doing some fascinating things. You're both moms. You have 4 kids between you. You're taking consignment sales and or garage sale tag sales, whatever you want to call it, to a next level along the shoreline of Connecticut, making it fun, vibrant, and you've got a whole system down. So in order to get what it is that you're doing, tell me about past lives and how you ended up doing this. Both coming out of corporate. We'll start with you, Josepha.
My background is in IT consulting, big multinational corporation systems implementation, so very technology based. From that,
are you a nerd then?
Yes.
See, I love that.
Yes.
I think that's awesome. Okay.
From that, I went into financial planning, and probably 4 years of work in the financial planning sector. I got pregnant with my daughter, and then never went back to work after that.
Grace, give me some background on you.
So I started off in financial planning and then went into finance and ended up going into venture capital, technology, ending up in education, doing everything from project management to marketing, branding, website design.
You did it all.
I did it all.
You lived 2 doors down from each other?
We did.
You did at one point.
Right.
So
We're still a couple minutes
We're 5
apart.
minutes away
okay,
now.
so that's close enough. So the Double Mint twins, for those old enough to remember that, the Circl Mint twins. So when did you say to each other, I have an idea, let's see what we can do? And where did Circl Mint come from? And by the way, I love your branding. We should Circl
you.
Mint and your name, Grace and Josepha.
This is our work shirt.
I love that, with the pink underneath. So how did you guys develop Circl Mint?
Well, we didn't develop the concept, but we did extrapolate on it. So what happened was, it's actually a little bit of a funny story, where my sister was complaining about having to buy new snow boots for her son because he only wore them 2 or 3 times the
Three
previous
winters,
winter.
three winters ago, we had a really warm winter. We've all forgotten because this winter's been...
No, I didn't. I wish we had it.
Okay, so 3 winters ago was ridiculously warm.
Yes.
I think we had 2, maybe 3 snowstorms. I had bought a brand new pair, nice Land's End boots. They were $40. He was 2 years old at the time. He wore them once or twice. Last winter, a year ago, it wasn't, he needed to wear his boots. It wasn't as cold as this winter, but it wasn't as warm as the previous winter. And he had outgrown them. And my heart broke. I was devastated. What do you mean they don't fit you anymore? They're brand new. So,
That's called kids.
Stick your foot in there. So she was complaining about it, and I said, well, do you remember when I lived in Massachusetts, we used to go to a consignment event, and they'd have dozens of, used boots that you could select from. Do they have anything like this on the shoreline? Because at that point I had just moved
To Connecticut.
to Connecticut. And she's like, no. I go, we should do this. This is so easy. So we get on all the different websites and we research all the different software, and we got all the information together, and then I decided, well, I was throwing names out to my sister for our logo and for what we wanted to do, and I was like, what about Circl Mint? Because we're really into recycling and reusing
Being
things
green.
and being green.
it's a form of recycling, buying secondhand.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And mint, you can everything that we accept has to be in close to mint condition. So
We screen everything.
Yeah, there are no stains, no broken zippers. Everything has to be in good condition. So Circl Mint.
Okay, so the first one that you did was last year?
A year
Yes.
ago.
A year ago. How did you grab people to get the concept that you're just not taking everything out of a box or a bag? It has to be in mint.
And almost
mint.
Almost mint
Almost
condition.
mint.
So how did you get people rolling on this? Did you go to other mom websites?
We
What did you
did.
do?
Our friends absolutely supported us. We have
Parties. We had some parties. And we would talk and educate our friends.
Yeah,
But
we started off with a large group of our friends, and then they started talking, and they spread the word to people we didn't necessarily know, but it may have been their friends. And we did some advertising, and we found people who they found us through advertising.
And we spoke to the newcomers group. We spoke to the holistic mom's group.
And I would think there was no pushback
play.
because this is what you do as moms, you recycle.
Yeah.
We have some pictures of one of the, you've done 2 so far?
Yes.
Correct.
You've done 2. Okay, so this is the size of the thing that you're doing. I mean, that's, and you're starting, we've got 2 more pictures here. You can look at everything that's laid out perfectly.
Yeah.
And you're telling me you're starting to outgrow spaces that you're finding along the shoreline.
Correct.
Because why?
It's
Well,
twofold.
We doubled in size from our first event to the second event.
See?
In terms of inventory.
And there's, the consignor now is learning what they can sell and what goes, what doesn't. So they're saying, oh, toys, those go really fast. Let's consign some of these and, recycle that. And, bikes and movies and books. And, oh, you take room decor? People want that. Oh, let's change the kids' room. I mean, we had a great, remember that full set of
Crib sheets.
The crib sheets. I mean, beautiful stuff. Beautiful.
See,
Yeah.
And so the
but you
consignor's learning.
you need 7 days, is what you said. You need a space that's for 7 days because
Right.
what happens over those 7 days?
Okay, so this is really what differentiates us from the typical consignment shop where you don't have a brick and mortar space. We're not a retail shop. We're an event. We're a sales event. It's a week-long event. It's 7 days. The first 3 days, we're setting up the shop. Basically, we're a pop-up shop. And what happens is the consigners come and drop off their inventory
So they set
over
up
those 3
appointments,
days.
and they set up appointments
With
through
us.
when they get their consignor number and they're logging in their inventory. They click on, I need to set my drop time.
So the
and there's
consigners are having to
open-
do some work up front.
Absolutely.
Let's not be lost on that. Oh, great. You've brought a couple of clothing items. Explain to me what is on these items and what does the consignor have to do in order to be in your event?
Okay, so the very first thing they do is they identify their items, throw it all in a box.
Nearly mint.
Right.
Okay.
Clothes need to be washed. It helps if it's ironed. It sells more quickly if it's presentable. Then they need to go to our website, click on the consign page, and register if they haven't already. And they pay a $10 registration fee through PayPal to do so. That gives them access to our inventory management system. Once they're in, they literally enter their items one at a time.
Or multiple times. Once you get to know the software, you can.
So you've got this
Yeah.
all barcoded.
Right. So when they're entering their item, they're giving it a description, and they're setting the price, and they're determining if they want to discount on Sundays, which is 50% off Sunday, and if they want to donate the item. If they don't donate, they have to come back and pick up their item. But if they do donate, they get the tax write-off. There's no transfer of ownership. That's another.
Go ahead, Grace.
And I was going to say, at the end of entering everything in, you print off these tags and then you just pin them on, and we want them on the left side so that when the shopper is going through the rack, they can
That's
see
so
the
smart.
price, they can see.
Now you're a give back operation too.
Right.
Who are you giving back to?
So for our upcoming event, we have partnered with 4 shoreline nonprofits, 2 in Guilford and 2 in New London.
And who are they?
So it's Kid Steps, which is the Infant and Children's Division of Sarah Inc., and then also Guilford Youth Mentoring. And then in New London, it's the Covenant Shelter, which is a homeless shelter.
Sure.
And also Safe Futures, which is a shelter for women who've suffered from domestic violence.
So this is a win-win situation. You're going to make a little bit of money, the consignor is going to make money, and nonprofits are going to be the recipient of what is going on. That is the way forward.
We've
That
given,
is so smart.
well, our consigners have donated almost $5,000 between 2 events. So that's pretty, and that's the, you have to think that each of these items are 25 to 35% of their retail value. So you can multiply that.
In your wildest imagination, and you're pretty young still, did you ever think you'd come up with circlmint.com and here we go and we're going to do consignment stuff?
I knew
mean, this
we-
came out of left field, right?
I knew we were going to do something. I have a 7-year-old and she has a 6-year-old. They're a year,
A month and a
1
day.
month and 1 day apart. And by the time her son was born, we would spend the
Brainstorm.
weekend together and have brainstorming sessions. What are we going to do? We got to get back to work. I needed to go back to work. A lot of moms face this. They have children. They came from a corporate background. Now they're at home. And you love your kids dearly. There isn't anything you wouldn't do for them, but the boredom
You're honest.
sucks the life out of you, right? And so we have always been trying to come up with something to do since we left the corporate world to take care of our children. And our husbands are still very much involved in the corporate world, have very demanding jobs. They travel quite a bit. And so if we went back to doing what we were doing before, we'd need nannies, we'd need full-time help. And so,
this is part-time.
This is part-time. We
It's
can do it
good.
from home. I'm making banana bread and like texting with my sister and emailing on the iPhone and
I'm on Facebook. I got to contact Anne.
Well, we're multitaskers.
Exactly.
I think what you guys are doing is just great. You're going to need bigger and bigger spaces because this is such a great concept.
Yes.
Thank you both for coming on. Yes, go ahead, Grace. you
No, I was
have
going to
one thing?
say, and ideally, you know, we'd grow to the point where we have 1,000 consigners, and it would be as large as it is in the South and the Midwest. And then you'd really see a ton of items being donated, a ton of consigners making good money.
we'll
We'll
get
be
there.
able to get, yeah.
I like your attitude.
Absolutely. I've seen the growth between the first and second and third event, and our third event is coming up April 26th and 27th at Stay and Play, which is, I don't know if you
It's
know.
in Old Saybrook.
In Old Saybrook. It's at 175 Elm Street. It's this fabulous, fabulous indoor play space with a cafe. You go, it's in a warehouse space. So you go with your children, you pay a $9 admission. They have
Play.
fun. There's a big jungle gym, a bunch of toys. You can have a coffee or a tea. And we're taking over one of their rooms. So for this next event, you can come and with an adult, drop off your kids, and then you can come shop our sale comfortably.
And if you need your kid to come in to try on clothes, because you pull them in,
Yeah.
You've got a great thing going here. Josepha and Grace, thank you so much for coming on. If people want to get a hold of you, they just go to circlemint.com.
Yep.
Correct.
Good luck.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for having us.